check. A fat stack. 550, I think, is what I'm at.
Okay, well that's good, because there's
Yes,
no way
you
I'm
should
gonna be
not get to
winning
forbid my
anything.
girl.
Kara, have faith in yourself. Come on.
Well, okay, I just got destroyed, like, by Nemu, like,
No.
10
It's
times already.
fine. It's fine.
And then Naru's in here like, no, you need to do it differently. Just spam your abilities.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to April.
Okay, guys. One more time, guys, if I can get your help. Pepper Girl, Zarissa, Luna. Well, Luna Windstar is bad. Yeah, bad. Luna Windstar. Irma Gerd, Artemis, Nemu, Admiral April, Charade. Charade is bad too, right?
Who's that?
Charade was
I
bad.
don't know who that is.
There's
I don't know who
actually...
that is,
Yeah,
but
I've never
Helios
heard of
says
that
it's a
person.
guy.
Okay, so another... So there's only 8 of you, actually. Pepper Girl, Zarissa, Irma Gerd, Artemis, Nemu, Admiral, I'm Sorry, and another. And I think these have all been confirmed.
Whew. Okay.
Um,
I'm scared to fight Nemu because she's really good at duels in general, and she's really good at the matching.
I'm scared to fight Z because she's a fucking necro. Don't want to fight necro.
Let me just take one last look
If
here.
I can't change
Necro's
my
easy
trait
to
lines, I
fight.
don't really want to fight a necro. Eh.
Oh my god.
Bitch, shut the fuck up!
Hello? I'm Cancer. Can you sign me up?
No, sorry, the brackets have already been made. We're closing. There's too much memes going on. We're closing it here. It's stopping right here. 8 people have participated, and that's it. Clever. Touche. I'll give you points for putting in a lot of fucking effort.
You could add a losers bracket if you want.
That's true, eh? Then we...
Make it a best of 1 though. So losers bracket would be best of 1, and winners bracket best of 3. Finals best of 5.
That would be... Let me try that.
Gummo? I don't think is that an April? I don't think so.
No, that's fucking Niv.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna leave like this for now. It's getting way too late.
Hey Mike, take your time. Nobody's going anywhere.
That's true, eh? And there's a lot of money for them to make, so the participants are definitely not going anywhere, I assure you.
Yeah, that's something.
Hello? Why can't I sign up anywhere?
You're not gonna be... I've already closed the brackets. I'm getting really late.
Oh, rip. We're asking for like voice chat confirmations for like a long time.
Okay, guys, for those of you in Twitch, this is the brackets. I'm going to post it in there for you. This is the brackets. There's 8 competitors. What I'm going to end up doing is going to be breaking it all down in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and also all the way down to 8th place. And we're just going to divvy up all the winnings in that order. So the lower you are in ranking, the less gold you're going to get, or Mystic Coins you're going to end up getting. First place is going to get a big chunk, second, third, and so on and so forth. So those are the brackets that we have right now. I'm going to post it in the map chat as well so they can see it as well. And I'm going to post it in the Discord so you guys can follow along there. Alright guys, so if you open it up and actually take a look, you're going to see for our first match is going to be Pepper Girl versus another. Both confirmed E-girls. We know this for a fact. They've all voice confirmed. So it's going to be a best of 3 series until we get to the finals. And once we've indicated who the finals are, we'll go back and start getting rid of the 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place, 6th place, 7th place, and 8th place. And then after 3rd, everything below that is going to be single game elimination. So let me just get rid of these people. Let's take a look at who this is. This is Gumo. Nope. And thanks again for joining, guys. This is the first ever E-Girls tournament. We have about 500, 550 gold in prizes to be giving out today. That's pretty intense. We started with 150 and it just exploded. Mantra of Flame. Let's see if that is. Another one right there. And there's Irma Gerd. Yep, Pepper Girl. Let's take a quick look at Naru and Kat. If you guys feel like shoutcasting or adding any input during these matches, man, feel free. Your input would be greatly, greatly appreciated. We got a bunch of people in the Discord here today. These are all the E-girls that have joined us. We got April, Alex, one of the best E-girls, Aunt Bev, that's Artemis, Mike, myself, Naru, Nemu, Pepper Girl, RL, and as the rest of there's a couple that just came in for voice comm. They're kind of shy, and I don't blame them. It's okay. Now we're going to take a quick look at Mantra of Flames build here. They got Rune of the Grenth running with...
You heard this person talk? Mantra of Flame?
I'm just gonna be honest, if these people or guys are just playing just to cheat, I might as well just...
I'm sorry is Merp's alt.
Did I add? Did I add? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so Zarissa's gonna get a
I'll
buy.
rat that bitch out.
Zarissa's gonna get a buy then. Holy! I didn't think it would be this prevalent. The amount of men trying to pretend to be women.
Mike, hey Mike, sorry, but if somebody forfeited, if that Neff can voice confirm.
Okay, and Mantra of Flame is Sir Barristan, so obviously he's gonna be. It's from. Let me confirm right here.
This is mad because they're saying that she's saying that we're letting guys play over her.
Who's?
She's, like whispering me about it.
What's her name? What's her name?
Oh my god.
Why don't you just let Neff take this person's place?
Okay, let's do that. So Mantra of Flame will be removed. Let's remove Mantra of Flame and let Neff in. And
It's not the case at all. It was just because the bracket's closed and we're just trying to get this organized and people are leaving it and it's making it difficult.
very, very, very difficult. Extremely difficult.
Big apologies.
And for those of people who are trying to meme it, I've definitely noted you down. So at least for the next 6 or 7 tournaments, I'm not going to allow you to participate in them. Because you're just making my life difficult and everybody else is difficult. So everybody has been noted. I have taken you down. So just don't ask to participate in a lot of the next tourneys that I do. Because I just don't need that. So thank you so much. So who's going to take the spot?
So well, if Nafta's can voice that confirm that. I guess.
She did.
Yeah, they came in, and the only reason why they weren't accepted is because at that point, Mike had after asking for so long.
Oh, my game accidentally shut.
Okay, so let's get Neff. Are you? She's not in here, but is she in there? Okay, Neff, you can join. Okay, let's just give it a buy and move on, guys. I'm not going to waste any more time. We're just going to move forward. So that's Pepper Girl that gets the buy on this one. We're going to go to Artemis versus Nemu.
One sec, I disconnected, so I'm logging back.
Okay. And holy moly, guys. And who would have expected a tournament for girls would be the most difficult to organize? Holy moly. But I assure you we're going to get something happening here. I know Artemis and I know Nemu are both females. We're going to have them in this match coming up. I'm just turning off the voice Discord right now just so I can concentrate a little bit and buckle down. And as I mentioned, for those of you who did participate and are not females, I'm definitely marking you down, guys. I really don't appreciate that. You're wasting a lot of my time. This is not what I wanted to do. There's a lot of gold involved in here, and this is all donated. This is not my gold. Even if it was my gold, I'd still be a little pissed, but this isn't my gold. This is someone else's who's donated, who wants to see this happen. And shame on you. On top of it, you're fucking weird for doing that, bro. What the fuck's wrong with you? Come on.
Starting? Mike?
Yep, sorry guys, I just had my voice comms closed off in Discord. I was just talking to the Twitch stream right there. So here we have Nemu versus Semi-Ocean, which is Artemis Flame. She's running with Sword, Staff, got Resistance and Marauder. Regular Revenant build that you got coming up. Artemis is really strong though with her Ellie. I'm very curious to see how Nemu is able to engage on this. She's got to be really careful. She's only got so much burst, and the sustain on coming out of Artemis is going to be really, really strong for her to get through. Good job right there. She's got to kind of keep the pressure on top of her. But as I mentioned, there's only so much burst that you can constantly keep on top of Artemis. Good job mitigating damage. Just backing out, poking in and a lot. Oof, really good job keeping the pressure. Artemis trying to mitigate damage, just getting out of LOS. She's got to get within range just to get the damage down. She's not able to get any burns. I don't think she's just got the rune of resistance, which does really help. Oh, big stun by Artemis. Heavy pressure coming onto Nemu. She does pop the glint heal. Artemis noticing it really quickly. Good job. Missing the shackling wave a little far. We've only got 50 seconds left onto this map, and as I mentioned, guys, there is a map mechanic involved in this tournament, so after 2 minutes, there is no healing, and there's an AoE effect that comes from both sides of the spawn area. Artemis Flame keeping the pressure up onto Nebu. Nebu does use the glint. She's got to conserve her glint heal. Make sure she gets a couple stacks of fire, and then maybe be able to use it to heal herself up because the map mechanic's coming up. Her heal's not coming back, and there's no way for her to top herself back up. So that was a really important thing she needed to consider before the round actually ended. But now she's going to be stuck in a very tight position as Artemis has the ability to really sustain and keep her health up. She's going to be topped up by the time the timer comes. Let me take a quick look at Nemu. Yeah, there's not much she can do. She's already going to be starting at a deficit, and Artemis does start with a lot of barrier, or can gain a lot of barrier, to even mitigate damage even more so. So here we are, the map mechanic's up, tries to glint the elite, doesn't manage to connect on Artemis. She comes back in for the killing blow. Good job, though, so far, mitigating and able to keep the pressure up. Just being very wily, kiting away. Artemis doesn't have too much in her utility skill for range-wise. Good job on the burst for Nemu. Artemis keeping the barrier up. Pretty much full health with barrier, and keep in mind that you can't crit on barrier, so it really, really, really helps with the sustain. Good job by Nemu, actually staying very, very kitey. Oh my goodness!
No way!
Incredible comeback from Nemu, and I think Artemis getting a little,
Feels bad.
yeah, Artemis getting a little complacent over there, realizing, you know, I think I got this in the bag. Let me just bide my time, going back and forth, kind of chasing the cat versus the mouse, and then Nemu just said, you know what, this is my chance, my cooldowns are up, and just turned and burned, put on all the pressure, and really got the big damage that she was looking for. Artemis was a little low already as is, and there's no healing after the map mechanic. And that's one of the main reasons why I really like using the map mechanic. A lot of people think, yeah.
We should change channels so they can focus better.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna move down to the.
AL tournament.
Okay. Hey guys, I got over here right now with me, Kat, and Ermagerd Pepper Girl. Pepper Girl's probably just coming here to hear if she so chooses. But that was actually a really good match. I was really, 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 really surprised with how complacent that Artemis got, and Nemu being able to take full advantage of that, seeing her window of opportunity. I think she already used most of her evades and invulns, and I think even her swirling winds was even proc.
We definitely saw Artemis get a little bit greedy there. She swapped out of Earth when she still had her Focus 5 available, and for those of you who don't know, the Focus 5 is the invuln. So she could have popped that before swapping attunements, but I think she just saw her HP, figured she didn't need it, and just decided not to press it, and she paid for that one pretty dearly. But this will be still really tough for Nemir to try to bring it back around, but she played the last one really well, so maybe she has a strategy going into this one. Let's see.
I hope she brings more of what she had at the end of the map mechanic throughout this whole match. She literally sustained for a good 30 or 40 seconds with literally taking almost little to no damage. If she's able to mimic that throughout the rest of this match, I think she'll have a really good chance. Just timing her burst well. But I don't think Artemis is going to be as complacent this time. She's going to be definitely, she's got something to prove here, especially in an all E-Girls tourney. I'm still in shock as to how many guys actually signed up to this. I'm still in like utter shock, bro.
But are you really?
Yeah.
Like, are you really surprised?
I literally have.
This one's gonna go to Artemis. Well played. Able to kind of stack up, I think, like 8 burns for a moment there, which ticked really hard onto Nemu. So that's gonna be 1-1. Looking at Nemu's build, she is running resistance runes. I think that's probably a pretty smart play. Not running double cleansing, but I think she just figures she needs the energy agility on sword. But yeah, 1-1. This is best of 3, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how many people I have in this anymore, to be honest. It's like everything has been very, very, very skewed.
Yeah, it's not easy to set up when you have to like confirm people's identities to participate.
Yeah, I was also very weary of doing it, and this is one of the main reasons. Yeah, this is not going to be good, guys. There's not much I can do right here at this moment. It's going to be, after this, it's going to be Zarissa versus Admiral April. I'm not
I
going
think
to
what
be...
we need to see Nemu play this one more patiently and try to bring it out to timer. Really kind of not go all in before that. Save up that big burst for right when the timer is about to hit. Send it, do it all at once so that the Ellie can't recover. And just, yeah, and that's what she's doing right now. She's just kiting, just kind of biding her time, waiting for the timer to start ticking. She's got a minute and 30 left, but Revenant is pretty good at kiting with the Shiro evades and super speed and stuff.
And I think
She's
that...
doing a great job of that right now.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. That's one of the... Probably... Oh, getting caught in those heavy
8
burns
stacks
right
of
there.
burn.
Yeah, and that's very dangerous. If you're not quick on the Condi cleanse, it will literally consume all of your health pool. And that's exactly what happened in Emu. Wasn't quick on the cleanse. Figured, you know, it's not that bad. But 8 stacks of burn, 3/4 of the health gone within seconds. She's definitely, like Kat said, use the map mechanic to the fullest advantage, and that's another thing I like about it. You can actually incorporate it into your strategy. So this is something that she can use, and she'll start to take the actual advantage in the fight. If she can stay topped up, hey, thank you so much for that follow, man. I really appreciate that. Admiral April, thank you so much. Now, as I mentioned, if you can actually incorporate that, but for Revenants, it's kind of hard for them to prepare for the last final seconds of the match because they really got to... Go ahead, Kat.
What Nemu can do is make sure that she has her glint and also make sure that she has her resistance rune proc up. The ICD on resistance rune is really short, but being able to use those 3 seconds of resistance is probably going to be pretty key going into the last few seconds here. And she actually does get a pretty nice heal off with her Shiro heal coming off cooldown.
And that's one of the things I'm really contemplating. Like when Glint Heal goes off, you have to really time it and make sure you get the right burst at the last couple seconds. But most of the time at the last couple seconds, people are either avoiding each other to the fullest so they can save their cooldowns for the timer. So you don't get full use out of your Glint Heal. It's very, very tricky, I find, to use it and make sure you keep yourself topped up. I've seen a lot of evidence have a little bit of difficulty. But we're about to find out here. She does have a much better advantage than she did last game. Her health pool is much higher. Artemis is kind of in the proper area right now because she's got the terrain in her advantage. As you can see, the mist is starting to consume the rest of the map, forcing Nemu into the smaller area. But if Nemu is able to use her AoE and drop it down in this small space, she'll be able to put a lot of cleave down and then get the burst down into Artemis. Nemu's got to be careful about that mist. Oh my god, I got nervous.
Really
Really...
able to connect the staff 5, but she does have a little bit left here. She's going to have the weapon swap up soon, maybe go for an unrelenting. There it is. But the Connie's going to take her out just in time. I think that was so close. Just a little bit more aggressively played, and she could have won that.
Artemis is dancing.
I think Nemu is closer to the gas and lower in downstate. I don't think there's... If she had gone down a little bit more in the corner, it probably would have been different, but the gas is going to tick on her first right now.
So it's going to be Artemis Flame that's going to be moving forward. Next up, we're going to have Zarissa versus Admiral April. Yeah, next up is going to be Zarissa versus Admiral April. I'm going to split this. There's actually only 8 competitors that I had in this tourney so far. So we're going to be splitting it up. No, 6. So everyone's going to get a big chunk, but I'm going to split it between first, second, and third, I believe.
And there's a loser's bracket?
Yeah, we're going to be making... There's going to be first, second, and third, and then we're going to do a loser's bracket as well.
Gotcha. This is an interesting matchup. Hollow-Smith versus Scourge. It's actually Sage's Scourge. Interesting.
Let's take a quick look at the Hollow-Smith. Running leadership with Demolisher. He's got the rifle for the main hand, Alchemy, Tools, and Hollow-Smith. He's got the Photon Wall with Elixir U. Take a look at Zarissa. She's actually running Curses with Soul Reaping and Scourge, going for the little extra damage. Sage with Balthazar, and also with Staff, Scepter, and Torch. Have you actually seen the potential patch notes, Kat, that came out?
I haven't. When did those come out?
Recently, actually, I posted them. I'm not sure where I posted them. Maybe I posted them in Discord. You'll see them, yeah, right there. In Discord where I posted the bracket, if you go up a bit, you'll see future potential World v World centric balance changes September 6th, 2019. It's just a bunch of balance patches that they're potentially going to be conducting. They're doing a lot to Necros. They're not touching allies apparently at all. They're touching hollows. It was interesting to see.
This is in general chat.
It's actually in tournament
Ready up
info.
anytime?
Yeah, ready up whenever you're ready.
Okay.
And tournament info, you'll see right above us.
I see it. Yeah.
So I'm going to watch actually April for this one to see how the Holosmith does. Now the Scourge is very susceptible to high CC, but also the Hollow is very susceptible to Condi, so they kind of counter each other. It's going to be a really interesting match. It's all about who connects with what first, and who's able to actually avoid and mitigate most of the incoming damage. The exchanges are going to be interesting. It goes into Hollow right away. Tries to clearing the gap. Good job by Zarissa pulling the Spectral Walk because if she so chooses, she can port back if she chooses. She is on the low ground, but she does have a lot of wells.
Without
Looks
the S coming out from April, she's going to need to be careful now. She's only got her healing turret left to kind of mitigate the Condi burst that can come out from Scourge. She does
exactly.
land a nice overcharge shot. We'll see if there's some follow up from that.
It was unfortunate
Not
the
able to connect.
overcharge. It was unfortunate the overcharge was over on the LOS. She wasn't able to put the damage down afterwards. Good job on the photon wall. She's getting really.
Torment, the breach getting popped there. She doesn't want to stand in that. She's got. Oh,
Yeah, it's just too much pressure, and as I mentioned, the Hollow doesn't have much in the ways of Condi cleanse. She does run Rune of Leadership over here to convert more Condis on Prime Light Beam. She does have the healing turret that she can use, but aside from those little things and combo fields, there's not much that they can use to mitigate that Condi. She's got to be really careful. Make sure that she gets the fullest potential out of her CCs. As you saw, when she did get that overcharge shot, she fell back. Sarissa went down onto the bottom plane in complete LOS. She couldn't get to her. She couldn't put down those damage. And those little things that's what's going to make the change in this map or in this fight. If she's able to keep the pressure onto Zarissa and make her constantly on the back pedal instead of coming forward and dropping the Condis and just annihilating her. So she's really got to control the pace and the style of the fight. But here we go into game 2, guys. And also, for those of you listening, I got Kat over here, who's a special guest announcing for this E-Gross tourney. Actually, a special guest casted with me yesterday for the 2v2. It was really, really good, really exciting. He actually went to the finals with Naru against Sword Flame and Mango. Really, 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 really interesting to see. So here we go, Zarissa versus April. Once again, tries to go in for the early shockwave. Doesn't connect. Good job on Zarissa, just pushing that W key, saving her utilities. Goes into Spectral Walk. Good Prime Light Beam. It connects.
She both her stun breaks now, so April's got a huge potential to try to get like a nice CC combo going since Zarissa doesn't have anything to stun break with. She just needs to kind of like sit back a little bit, wait for the overcharge shot. Doesn't have her Prime Light Beam up just yet, but she might be able to make something happen with Holographic Shockwave. Forced into S by those 8 stacks of Torment, but she should be just fine here with her healing turret off cooldown. She really needs to be looking for the overcharge shot, but it's just it's a little bit out of range. She's not going to be able to connect much from it. And that's kind of what we saw happen last round as well. Landed the overcharge shot, just not at the time she needed to. Still got Elixir U up, so she's not quite out of options, but I think with that fear, that's probably going to be the end of it, comboed into the knockdown.
A lot of pressure coming out from Zarissa, and exactly, it was really hard for her. She did, like we mentioned, she got caught using a lot of the overcharge. The overcharge is good, but at the same time, it knocks you back, and it also pushes the opponent forward, creating the distance. A good combo is maybe using overcharge and then Elixir U to break the stun immediately, and then come in with the quickness and the heavy damage. Something to consider, and something maybe to save when you combo with the CC. But that was a good match. We got Zarissa moving forward into that. Oh, whoops, hold on. Let me readjust these brackets really quick, guys. I put in the wrong thing. We're actually going into the semifinals, I believe, now. No, the finals, actually. No, we're doing Artemis versus Pepper Girl. That's going to be our next match. That was Admiral that just lost. That's Zarissa going into the finals, actually. And it's going to be Artemis versus Pepper Girl. And this is another combo that's going to be... Artemis has already got practice against the Revenant, so she's really comfortable. She knows what she's going to expect, the type of combos and the type of engages. So she's a little more warmed. Ermagerd did fight in the first... No, I don't think so. She thinks she got... No, she did fight, I believe. Let me take a quick look.
She had a bye.
Oh, she did have a bye, yeah. So this is going to be her first fight. So Sip has already got some match in. Ermagerd's coming in cold. And on top of it, Artemis has already fought a Revenant. So this is going to be the odds are stacked a little bit against Pepper, but we'll see how she is able to cope with this. She's got to was able to watch the match, so she kind of saw the weaknesses in the gameplay. Maybe she's able to exploit those and take advantages of her strengths.
Yeah, I think she should know that she should try to take this to timer, but it looks like she's just gonna trade damage a little bit in the beginning here, but it looks like she's just gonna try to stall it out till timer, and I think that's probably a Revenant's best bet against Weaver.
I mean,
it's just Weaver just has so much sustain. It's really difficult to deal with. Len's a really fat, unrelenting, but Weaver's just gonna bring all that health right back up again.
And that's the issue that you get with this type of high sustain versus this kind of rotational +1 heavy damage style of class that you have from the Revenant. She just doesn't have enough of that pressure to continue and maintain the damage onto Artemis to make her either to start to run so she can continue the pressure. She just has too much mitigation. She's got to kind of do what Nemu did, and I've seen successful in a couple of the tournaments where they actually get the big damage down onto them, and their sustain or their healing is just not big enough to deal with that big burst. So they just constantly keep the pressure, and then they just go through all their cycle of their healing. There's nothing left in the tank, and they just destroy them in the end. But you got to be able to get that big burst first and make sure their health stays down. Go ahead, Cap.
And we've seen that from Anya before. Anya, I think, is pretty much the only Revenant that I've seen able to kind of whittle down a Weaver in these 1v1s without the gas mechanic. But 30 seconds left here. Karo needs to start playing for those cooldowns. Lands a nice burst and actually forces out the invuln right now, which is really good timing for Karo since there's only 20 seconds left and the invuln itself is a much longer cooldown.
What is the internal cooldown on that invuln, Cap?
I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I want to say it's around like 40 or 50 seconds.
Okay, I was always curious.
Yeah, we'll see next time she goes Earth offhand. But yeah, 4 seconds left here until timer. Karo's sitting at around 57. Yeah, as you can see, another 22 seconds left on the Obsidian Flesh. So that's going to be pretty good for Karo. She does have an opportunity to do something here, but with Ocean sitting at full HP, it's not going to be easy. I think Karo should be able to get the Leadership Cleanse proc pretty soon. If she's able to cast her Glint Elite, there it is. That's going to be pretty big. But at 800 HP with a stack of bleed on her, it's going to be really tough. She does have her Glint heal coming up. I'm not sure if that negates damage, but regardless, doesn't have time to cast it. Sip My Ocean taking round number 1.
Really
just
tough.
Showing how difficult Weaver is to deal with as a Revenant. You have to be able to chain that damage together so well. Be able to force out that Obsidian Flesh, the Twist of Fates, everything.
So guys, we're going to be moving actually into the second round of this match, so I'm just whispering a couple people here. There's a lot more, I definitely got to go back to the drawing board for this tournament. There's a lot more involved in it than I had so thought. So the next, I'm going to do it, and I'm not giving up on this e-girls tournament. I'm definitely not. There was a good amount of people, and a lot of these ones participating right here are solid, and I'd like to highlight them and show them off a little bit. Hey, thank you so much for that follow, man. I really appreciate that. GX270. And I'd really like to highlight them. So next one is going to be a little more organized. I'm going to have a lot more scrutiny going on and quality control checks going on. And I actually thank Kat and Naru as well. They were my main security guards on this one. They actually spotted out a lot of people that I entered into this tournament. So thank you so much for that, guys. I also have Kat here shoutcasting with me. So here we go into a second match. Matt, what do you think who's going to win this one there, Kat? Or what do you think that
I mean,
Ermagerd's got to do again?
we've seen Artemis kind of take this matchup again and again, but the last round, it wasn't without contest. I think, Revenant does have a lot of potential, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. That was a massive burst. That was a 7.7k death strike, and I mean, sometimes Revenant can just do that, and
and,
if the elementalist isn't immediately prepared for that, a huge burst can come out and kind of take them down, and that's just what we saw.
and
So
that's
really well played by Caro there.
and that kind of looks like the opposite of what she was trying to do the first round. The first round, she seemed like she was just trying to mitigate and run away and kite. And this time, she went a little more aggressive and tried to catch Artemis by surprise.
And
Kara.
I like that. She landed the knockback and she kind of saw an opportunity and she went for it and it paid off in spades.
We actually have Artemis and I think Carol in the voice chat with us. You hear
Listen,
Artemis
we
laughing.
tried to move channels to not give them an unfair advantage, but they just joined this channel, man. So what can we do?
So here we go into game three. There's a lot of pressure on both of them now this time. And Artemis, once again, getting caught being a little complacent. I think she wasn't ready for the big burst. And good job by Irma Good, just kind of pretending, being a little lolling around, just kind of walking away and then turning around and turning on the big, big, big pressure.
Question is, can she do it again? If this is finals, this is best of 5, so they both need 2 more wins, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, this is the finals? No, this can't be the finals. This is semifinals.
Or is this semifinals?
Yeah, semifinals.
Oh, right, because
You said it was.
Zarissa's in the finals. This is to decide who's going into the finals, and then we're going to do third place, fourth
right.
place, and all that backwards.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Anyway, sorry about that. Moving
No
on.
problem. I still got to filter through the rank and see who was fake. There was a lot of fake guys in here pretending to be girls. They even had girls come on the Discord to say hello and to
6
confirm.
stacks of burns on Kuro. She needs to get that off. Oh, but the Comet dazes the staff forward. That's really well played by Artemis. Manages to daze that cleanse at the most crucial time as well. Looks to try to bait out a dodge with that Jade Wins. Not really too successful with that one, though. Does have Unrelenting up as well as Death Strike, so there is a lot of burst that's about to come out. Goes for the Sword 4 and opts to not go for the Death Strike and goes for the Staff 4 cleanses instead. I think that was a pretty smart decision given her current health pool. Has her Glint heal up. Jade Wind's going to buy her a little bit of extra time here. Looking over at Sit My Ocean, she doesn't have any more Twists of Fate, but in terms of health and weapon skill cooldowns, she's doing pretty well still. It's going to be tough for Kara to kind of buy enough time to reset, given that the healing gets turned off in around 30 seconds. Just really playing defensive, trying to wait for those cooldowns to come back up. She's got another 10 seconds for the Jade Daggers. Does manage to get the Glint off, though. That's going to give her a nice chunk of health back. 18 seconds now. She's just going to have to be really careful here in these last few seconds and see if she can try to get like a meme spike in at the last minute.
Really good job by Immigrant, though, mitigating. And once again, this is Cat shoutcasting, special guest, and we bring him. He comes in sometimes just to give more of the technical side. As you just heard, he's being able to call all these moves. I'm really new to it, so I hope you guys really appreciate it. Thanks again to Cat. Immigrant doing a really good job now keeping the pressure onto Artemis, but now there's no time. Now the timer's gone up. There's no more healing. She does put up the swirling winds to try to mitigate anything coming to Immigrant. This is going to be really tough.
Obsidian Flesh, but oh, those Condis are going to hurt.
Oh my god, really close match. That was very, very entertaining. Kudos to both participants and good job by Irma Gerd. Really being patient, not getting too squirrely. So now it's going to be Artemis versus Arista in the finals, but we're going to do third place as well as fourth place. And as well, I think if we do have a fifth place. So right now it's going to be Admiral April versus Irma Gerd for third place. This is going to be a best of 3 series. Give me 1 minute, guys. I'll be back in 2 seconds. So if you'd like, you can take it away, Kat, if you'd like to say anything or mention anything about the builds.
Sorry, I decided to respond to something in map chat. So we got Necro versus Weaver coming up next.
Right now we have Admiral April versus, hold on, let me check the brackets, versus Pepper Girl. So it's Admiral April versus Pepper Girl in this fight.
Okay. Well, we did see. I mean, as far as that matchup, I think most people would agree that it does come down to a skill matchup. Kind of the better player wins. I wouldn't really give the advantage to either class in terms of the 1v1 itself. Holosmith does have a lot of ability to lock down a Revenant when they don't have those stun breaks up. So I think what it comes down to is landing the overcharge shot, at the right time, seeing that, okay, the Rev just swapped to Shiro and they just used their Shiro port, for example. They don't have any stun breaks because they don't have the Legend swap to stun break. They don't have the Shiro evade to stun break. Now's a good time for me to overcharge into Prime Light Beam, into Holosmith 5 or something along those lines. So it really does come down to seeing those cooldowns and thinking about, okay, this is when I want to use my CC, and this is the time that they'll be able to break out of it. So I should just play a little bit more defensive, maybe just try to trade a little bit more with the Holosmith 4 and things of that sort. But yeah, moving into it, I think I would place my bets on Karo. She just seems to be, a little bit more of an experienced PvPer. She has a lot of experience on Holosmith herself, so she knows what to look out for as well. But yeah, this should be a fun match to watch. Going to be opening pretty aggressively. Swaps into Glint. I like that opener. Lands the Sword 4 as well. That's a lot of damage onto April. She's forced to pop her healing turret and the Photon Wall. So that's going to put her in the back a little bit. Carl manages to block the Shockwave as well. That's going to be pretty big.
Alright, I'm back, guys.
April probably going to be looking for
Alright.
an overcharge soon, but forced into the S at 2k HP. I don't see Caro giving her any way out of this.
She does have a healing turret, though. Maybe she can, just maybe. She does have the
Staff 5
shockwave.
gonna, yeah, the Staff 5 going to punish her for the healing turret, though. Like, as a Holosmith, that when you're at 2k HP and you're in S against a Revenant, there's really you don't have much hope after that point, because with Staff 5 ready, I mean, even if you cast the healing turret, you're going to get CC'd right through it and take all the all the health that you just gained back.
Yeah, and also on top of it, I think it gives Ermagerd the time to prepare for when she does come out of her S, because you can time it, especially if you play a while, you really know when the S is going to come. So it almost gives her that time to really jump on her as soon as she's ready. Really, really difficult. Let's see if April makes any changes to her build. I don't think she has. Still looks very similar. Let's take a quick look at Ermagerd over here. No, I don't see any major changes.
Yeah, I don't anticipate to see too much changing. I mean, April's running pretty standard holo stuff here. Maybe a rune change, but I think what we need to see from April is kind of a change to her opener, and I like what I'm seeing so far. She goes for the stealth. Caro does manage to predict it with the Staff 5. That was really nicely played. April pops the Photon Wall now as well. She needs to make something happen during that time frame, but she ends up just taking a bunch of damage and is forced into the S, and that's not the opener she's looking for.
She's definitely got to put some counter pressure. She gets hit in a big glint elite, and I think that was even a stowed glint elite by Ermagerd on the other one.
Yeah, attempting to bait out a dodge roll. We see April kind of going into not able to connect the overcharge shot. The terrain going to block that one, but again, this is what I'm talking about with Holosmith. It all comes down to when you use that overcharge shot, and there was some windows to use it, and I think her priority in which move she goes for is a little bit messed up. Overcharge shot being the lowest counterplay CC that she has is probably the one you want to use the most. But anyway, Caro moving on 2-0, well played by her. We saw a nice Staff 5 negating that stealth opener as well. That was a pretty cool play.
So it's actually Pepper Grove that takes third place, and Admiral April that falls into fourth. And now we're moving into the finals. I believe there is no other person. Nemu is left. Nemu, I'm going to give you. You can actually fight Admiral April for. No, that's Admiral April that moved forward. So Nemu, you're getting fifth place, I believe. Nemu fifth, Admiral fourth.
You could do. I mean, if Nemu doesn't have a contestant, you could do Nemo
what?
versus Karo.
I never even fought Nemu, and like she's better than me.
But you moved forward into the tournament, so that's
okay.
That's it. So you have the wins and she has the loss. And then, well, we can duel you too if you want to, because she doesn't have a contestant. And if you're willing to fight for fourth, you can do that. Let me know, April.
I
So
mean,
You can
it's
do
either
whatever
that
you
or
want to do for your tournament.
you could do Karo versus Nemu for that spot.
for third spot.
Yeah, for the spot that Karo just won, pretty much. If Nemu doesn't have a contestant to play against. And I mean, like, for the people that are kind of like getting worked up over this, like, it's a work in progress. Like, you can't expect it to be run perfectly, especially when people are getting DQ'd and re-added and DQ'd and re-added, and it's just like it's not easy for Mike to do. So
Yeah, exactly. And
a little bit of patience would be great.
yeah, and like Mantra of Flame, you're the main reason that Neff couldn't play. You're the cause for her not. So if there's anyone to blame, buddy, it's you're gonna blame you. So you've got to stop whispering me and putting it in map chat. But it was you're the problem that created it. I couldn't do it because of you. If you didn't do what you did, she would have had your spot and she would have been participating. But unfortunately, there was a lot of memes going on, so we got screwed over. But like I said, I'm not giving up on this. The next tournament is definitely going to be much more organized. I'm gonna have my security gates. I'm gonna have my security guards standing there. We're gonna be checking and making sure. So I had a lot of help from Kat and actually Naru verifying and making sure. There was a lot of people that entered that were actually guys pretending to be girls. So and once again, thanks Kat for making sure that everything stayed on pace and making sure we focused on the match more so than the actual debauchery that happened. So now I'm just gonna give Nimu the fifth place. And I'm just going to move on to the finals here. We're going to move on to Artemis versus Zarissa, and it's going to be a best of 5 series. So our finals is Artemis versus Zarissa, guys. Oh, and also I'm going to be doing some, I'm not sure yet. Actually, hold on. Let me just let the competitors know. So here we have both of them in. Let's take a quick look at Zarissa this time. And I think maybe Zarissa will have a little bit of an advantage with being able to dump a lot of Condis onto Artemis, making her more focused on the cleanse than being able to put down the damage. And as well, she's got a lot of wells, a lot of AoE effects. So when Artemis does come in for the damage, she can just kind of get the AoE effects attached onto her. And she does have a lot of transfer. Most Necros do have a lot of transfer as opposed to actual Condi clear. So she can just send those burns right back to Artemis. So she's got to be very, very attentive on when she's burning. If Teresa's used her transfers already. So she's got to be very, very, very careful.
Naru, are you in here?
Yo.
What can you say about Sage's amulet? Is that standard for this kind of spec?
Yeah, Sage is good.
Okay.
You want
Do you
healing
wanna
power for Bloodline? Wait, she's
maybe you
cursed.
wanna maybe you wanna talk about this one a little bit
It's
because
awkward,
I was a
yeah.
little bit a little bit confused about the build and I don't know a
Yeah,
lot
this
about
build makes
Necro,
no
so
sense. Sage is bad if you're running curses because you get no value from healing. You're basically losing damage, period, and Condi duration for nothing. I thought she was blood.
More barrier.
It's not.
More
Barrier
barrier.
doesn't scale that well. It's like okay, but it's not worth losing all the damage you lose by being dead shot.
Definitely something to consider, and thank you for the information. I never considered it. So here we go in the first match in the best of 5 series. Zarissa's kind of standing back, getting the wells, making Sip My Ocean come to her and punishing her as she does that. She's already got her spectral walk, clears the burning very, very quickly. And this is what she wants to do, try to create the distance and punish Artemis for coming towards her. As I mentioned, Artemis needs to get close to be able to put that damage down, and Zarissa has the ability to just punish and punish and punish, as she's doing a really good job. Trying to kite using the LOS, using the no ports, to try to mitigate some of that opening damage. It looks like Artemis is getting the better of the exchange over here, but oof, big burning, big Condi damage coming on to Zarissa. She is able to get the heal off. She's got no shroud left. She's in a very, very tight spot. Artemis keeping up the pressure. Just popped the ghastly breach. Oof. And what do you say strategy-wise, Naru, that you could do a little differently just in this type of terrain and versus this type of opponent, in your opinion?
I mean, she needs to land her Subject 3, C boons, and not miss those, especially against Ellie because they have a lot of evades. And she needs to avoid that fire spike. So the moment they go into fire, fire earth specifically, you just run away. You don't even trade with that. There's no point. You
Okay.
run away because they can't catch you anyways, right? They don't have a port in that when they're in fire earth, and then Once they're out of it, you trade again.
Trade as in re-engage.
You re-engage, yes.
Okay, so
You
this.
can do better as a necro, but her build just inherently is bad. Like, she does less damage and has less healing. I think that's the biggest problem with her build.
And it's definitely something to consider. Let's see if with that type of strategy comes into play during this match. Just being, like you mentioned, being very attentive on when she goes into fire, watching for the animation, and trying to just mitigate, pushing that double Q, W key, just to try to get away, save the cooldowns, create some distance. And then once she comes out, where she knows she's not in that much fear of getting burned down, she can actually turn back and re-engage into the fight. So here we go, game 2. Let's see, as I mentioned, they're both really top tier players. It not only necessarily has to be the build that changes, but the actual strategy and gameplay, as Naru just mentioned. Artemis trying to come in quick. Sarissa staying back. Good stun by Artemis. She's still saving the spectral walk. She used it a little early in the last match, but now she's being a little more attentive on it, making sure that she
Oh,
can cut.
nice Seaboon gets the stab off.
And
Kind of
see,
notices that the Weaver had some stab there, and Seaboon's at the proper time, and that was a really well played on her part.
and when you
She
say
just needs to keep doing
Seaboon,
things like that.
when you say
Sorry, go ahead.
Here's when she needs to aggress, but
when you say Seaboon, you mean corrupt boon, correct, Kat?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I'm just
No problem. It's just for
confusing that.
anybody listening and they're not too sure. Seaboon is corrupt boon. You guys can continue shoutcasting if you so choose, man. I appreciate it. You guys know all the little intricates.
Well, what we saw there is exactly what Naru was talking about. The Weaver was in fire, and kind of Zarissa took like 8 stacks of burn from it. And actually, I don't know about that breach. I feel like that was kind of a panic breach. She needed to save that, and now she really doesn't have too many options left. Her heal coming off cooldown, but she's gonna have to buy time now for the breach to come back up. You
well,
really
it's
can't.
not gonna
You really
happen.
can't waste it.
I was
I mean,
Play by then.
very misplaced. But like you said, it was probably a panic, getting a little nervous. Artemis was closing the gap. Maybe she thought she was going to engage. She popped the breach, but like you said, a little early. We're going into a 2-0 series on this one. I just want to take this time to thank you guys for participating and watching into this tournament. It was a little hectic at first, but we've actually gone through it. So if you like this type of content, check out my highlights videos. It's all in there. I do it every single day. Click that follow or click that subscribe. I got Naru and Kat over here who are helping me shoutcast as well as being my security guards, keeping all the fakes and frauds out. So thank you so much, guys, and thanks for coming to just put in a little bit of your input for this tournament. I appreciate it. So here we go into game 3, guys. Sip My Ocean versus Zarissa, I believe. Okay, so Zarissa actually has some in real life stuff that she's got to take care of. So we're gonna give the last game to Artemis. So that's it for this tournament here today, guys. I'm gonna be doing it again for sure. I'm not giving up on it. I'm gonna just be a little more strict and be a little more attentive on who joins. I'm gonna do a lot more security checks. So look forward for the next one. Maybe I'll do something tonight because I didn't like how that went, and I want to give you something really entertaining. So maybe later on in the night, maybe around 11 o'clock, I'll probably do something. I'm not sure what. Maybe a 1v1, maybe some, I don't know what, but something is going to come. I'm probably going to take a 15 to 20 minute break. I'll be back and we're going to do some ranked until I figure out what I'm going to do tonight to give you something, guys, something to watch. Once again, thanks again to Naru and Kat for helping me be security and just doing a little bit of shoutcasting. I hope I see you again because I think we can really get something good.
I'm still a little confused about the final bracket.
Yeah, that's that. You, Admiral?
Yeah.
Okay, you're 4th place and Nimu is 5th.
On the losing bracket?
Yeah, you're the. I'm just going down in receding order, so it's going to be Artemis at 1st, Zarissa 2nd. It's going to be Pepper at 3rd, you at 4th, and then Nimu at 5th. And like I said, it might not make entire sense, but everything was really jumbled. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm just putting the stamp of.
People quit? Like, wasn't there supposed to be 10 people?
There was supposed to be a bunch of them, but then it got to the end where I just didn't know who was who, and there was just too many fakes, and it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the people that I know for certain are e-girls, and then that's it. I'm going to work with that. And then the next time I come up and do it again, I'm just going to organize it a little better.
Yeah, I understand. It can be difficult doing something for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, especially this type of thing where I didn't imagine there would be so many people pretending to be girls. Like literally
Yeah, I
coming
didn't
into
get it the same
Discord
time
with a
either.
girl and everything.
So Artemis Flame is the world champion?
Yes, sir. Artemis Flame is Artemis Flame is the world champion.
Yes, the best ever.
Yes, sir. So once again, thanks guys on Twitch stream. I'm going to be doing some ranked in about 15, 20. I'm going to take about 15, 20 minutes of a little break, get something to eat, to decompress, put up the video. Maybe I'm not going to put up this video, but I think I will. At least there was really good matches, and I really want to show them, and I want them to be able to actually see themselves fighting. So I'm definitely going to post it. So thank you. I'll be back in 15, 20.